Okay, so this is gonna be my review for the anime series Reckoning of Ragnarok. And obviously this video will gonna have spoilers because I'm gonna review what I think about the whole season 1. And I have to say that this was really good. I really liked the animation of almost all of the characters. I think the best one was in animated was the fight with Sasaki and Poseidon. I think that fight was really cool because it's like they have two different weapons. Like obviously the battle with Lubu and Thor also was different because Thor used a hammer and Lubu used some kind of a helibard pull-on weapon. So it's very nice that they have totally different opposite weapons. One is long weapon, a short weapon. But specifically the battle with Sasaki and Poseidon. That Poseidon used a trident and Sasaki used a nodachi. It's a long sword that you use against cavalry or against spears or other kind of long weapon like pole arms. So like in this kind of thing. And you can cut with it, you can thrust with it, and you have a very powerful swing. You can do a nodachi sword. It's specifically against people like, for example, it's very good against people like Poseidon's weapon, like trident, like spear kind of weapons. I think it's always very interesting. You see like Sasaki's ability was that he can memorize in some ways how his opponent will fight, so he can see almost like step by step what will happen to him if he go this step to this opponent, or there is a reason why it takes a long time for him to start a fight against Poseidon. And the only thing I think was a bit bad was that we don't see Poseidon's full potential, because obviously Poseidon was so arrogant in this show. Poseidon looked down on everybody. Probably the only one Poseidon do not look down on was Zeus. This was probably the only one, but because of this was the biggest reason why that Raiden defeated Poseidon. That Poseidon really think that Raiden was not on the same level as him. He don't think Raiden was any. Wrong there. Only reason why he don't think Sasaki was any real threat to him. So that was really nice to see that when Sasaki cut Poseidon in half with his nodachi. So that was really cool. And the other thing that was really cool was the final part of the battle with Lubu and Thor. Specifically when Lubu, when his hammer was waked. Obviously, I have to say I don't really like Mjolnir, specifically in the anime. I don't think it was a bit too overdue with his hammer. Was a bit too big, I think. I much prefer Lubu's weapon, and obviously because all of the humans get Valkyries that go into their weapons to get them the strength of a god. Obviously, his Lubu's Valkyrie that helped him in the battle against Thor was the Iron Breaker, and also Lubu's super move was the Sky Splitter that he used. Like his flat hand on the side of the pommel on the long shaft of his helibard. So that was really cool to see. But it was really cool to see these two characters fight against each other. And obviously Thor won in the end, but it was like very close. I think there was really a really nice final with Lubu and Thor when Lubu sit on his horse. Really cool with all the music when he charged and his final charge. Then obviously Thor used his final attack with the hammer. And when the hammer swing, when he killed Jormungandr, that attack, obviously Lubu block it. But only reason that the reason Lubu's weapon was still there was because of the Valkyrie. That was a specific weapon. And then we have also the other fight with Sasaki and Poseidon. That fight was really cool. But obviously, I think obviously the person that do best from that fight was obviously Sasaki, because he was really taking the battle much more seriously. And I much more prefer Sasaki's backstory over Poseidon's backstory. The same I have to say for Lubu. I think Lubu's backstory was more interesting than Thor's backstory, but both of the backstory was okay. I think obviously they have also other interesting thing. Obviously with they also explain. I think they explain very good. For example, they really give us I think they're really cool that they show. For example, in this beginning of the show for season 1 of Reckoning or Ragnarok, they explain 13 warrior on the human side and 13 guard gonna fight against if 7 who come first to 7. If the human wins, they will live 1,000 more years. Get 1,000 more years to live. If the guard win, they are extinct. And the other things I was really, really, really happy for, I have to say super happy for that that Shiva was in the anime show. I'm super happy for that. They don't cancel him out or censor him. There was there was some discussion about that because of the Hindu community. There was some, I don't know exactly why, but there was something like that. They want him to be cancelled out. They don't want him because they think they show him in some kind of bad way. That he was some kind of arrogant boy. Yeah, in the show he is. He's very hot-tempered, very quick to be angry, and angry person. I like him. I like his attitude. I like Shiva in the anime. I think it's gonna be interesting to see in season 2 his backstory, and I think it was nice to see Shiva. So that is it's one of my favorite character in the show, I have to say. My favorites have to be Lubu. Obviously, even if Lubu is dead in the anime, so is one of my favorite. Lubu, Shiva, and Buddha are probably my favorite in the show. Then the character like the least, absolutely worst, but there's absolutely really do not like this Jack the Ripper, and Hercules probably is the only character I really don't like. But maybe my opinion will change when the anime comes for season 2. Maybe then, obviously, I more prefer Jack the Ripper over Hercules, absolutely, because but I don't. Maybe it's the only reason why I don't. Was a bit bored because the Jack the Ripper's backstory was so long and so dry out. Maybe that was the only reason. And the character I think have the best design. Absolutely Sasaki and Shiva, I have to say, and Thor. And Thor have really good design with his red hair, black eyes. Lubu also really cool, like with his tattoos. But probably I think the most silly have to be Ares. Ares probably was the most look silly. But all of the other characters look really cool. Poseidon, but I like his weapon. I like the design of his weapon, his trident, but I don't really like his swimming suit, muscle dress kind of. For me, it was a bit too overdue in some ways. But his weapon was really cool. Like, if I have to say what I think is the coolest weapon in Reckoning of Ragnarok, between human and the guards, that absolutely I have to say. I probably will say for now will be Lubu's polearm weapon. Probably is my favorite weapon right now. But in the anime, but we have to see the coloring of Buddha's like war club when this come out of the anime. But right now is Lubu's polearm is my favorite, and the second place have to be Poseidon's trident. It's probably my favorite weapons in the show. And I think the most irritating character in Reckoning and Ragnarok have to be Brunhilde's assistant, the little girl. Probably was the worst. Obviously, she was, but it was. I don't find so much a thing to complain about. I'm very happy. Biggest reason why I'm so happy is because Shiva is in the show, and I was 100% sure that Shiva should not be in the show. So I'm really surprised and happy surprised about all of these kind of things. So for me, I have nothing to complain about. Everything was good. Something was better than other, but you can always in animes or movies or whatever kind of TV show, you always find something, little thing to complain about. But is more time you find. It's much harder to find things to complain about when the show was good. Like it was good. The starting music, like intro music, was a bit. There was like heavy metal music. I like heavy metal music, but this kind of heavy metal music was like bit too popular. Heavy metal music was not like political heavy metal music. It was much more like angry screaming music. It was not like you have a purpose behind it. So if you like that, okay, it's okay. But for me personally, I always ignored that scene, jump right to the show, and ignored the music. For me, yeah, that was. But for me, that is still nothing to complain about, because it have nothing to really do with about the show, because you're still gonna get show even if you have that music. So the music when they play, obviously the music when we see when Lubo's horse come into the arena, that was really nice. And obviously the final when Lubo ride on his horse before he was killed of Thor, and obviously the introduction of Adam when he jumped from the pillar, and all the elephants and the camels and giraffe and all this, it was also nice. So for me, when I think about it, it's really hard to say. All of the fight in Reckoning and Ragnarok in season 1 was really nice. Like maybe some of them are maybe 1 or 2% better than the others. For example, Sasaki and Poseidon fight, Lubu's and Thor's fight. But it's like none of them is superior, much better. Like for me personally, so far. So I think it was nice. The show was really, really nice. And it was really cool to see, for example, all the characters. For example, you see Aphrodite with her stone golems. So I'm really wondering if she will be one. I don't think so, but I'm wondering if she will be one of the fighters. That she gonna use her stone golems. She's gonna use them to fight, or I never really understand the purpose with the stone golems. That you sit on 2 stones, like stone humans, like yeah. So it was nice. And it's really obviously it was a really cool scene when you see when they are before they start the fight. Is like after the battle with Lubu and Thor. The original should be was the battle between Adam and Shiva, but that was cancelled. So instead of Shiva, there was Zeus to fight Adam, and that was really cool. When first we see what's his name again? Oh, not Luke. Sorry, totally forget his name. But he played the violin, and that was really cool with that animation. You see, that was really cool to see Zeus and Hermes. Yeah, Hermes. So I think all of them, the only person I have to complain about with the design was Ares. I really do not like Ares' design. That was the only character I really have hard, like a bit. I think obviously is one thing to always say. I know that Aphrodite in the anime show was eye candy for many people. Was not have nothing for me. But the reason why I complain about Ares, because I have really he's a war guard. I think should be look much cooler. When he looked like he drinking tea and eating cakes. For me, like that is the only person I complain about is Ares. That was probably the worst. Okay, for me, I would say some people may like it. That probably was the worst design. I think Lubu with his like shark teeth and this kind of teeth. For me personally, I think Lubu looks cool. Even if he looks like some kind of caveman in some part in his face, but he was still cool. I think he's like very barbaric look, so I really like it. And the same with Thor, was really like almost like a black heavy metal artist. Same for example Zeus, specifically with the Damasus form. And the only person I really don't like the design of was Ares. I think that was the only one in the show. So yeah, the whole show was really good. Really cool, good graphic. Yeah, really cool. Yeah, and I think what more to say really is like it was a really good show. It was a really nice, and they have really cool scene. Obviously. Yeah, with backstory. I think also was nice with backstory was not as long as there was like different backstory have different color and different background. For example, more like for example, I think there was Thor's background was more vintage, more like black and gray with brown, like an old photographic background. It looks nice when like the big Jotun, the big giants come. When they fight against them, he uses super move. But it's nice that all of the backstory, that every character get the backstory and then fights. We get some information about them. So that was nice. I think and it was a good show. And I hope we don't have to wait too long. For season 2, I hope maybe one. I really hope we're gonna get it soon. We just hope that people are gonna like the show, that give it a chance to see the whole show. Of Reckoning of Ragnarok. I think it was really give it a chance, because like if more people watch it, then we have bigger chance to see season 2. And I don't find anything really to nothing to really complain about. Like for every character have a purpose in the anime show. It's like even if a character is really complaining, for example, even so, we always will find a character that you hate or you love in a show, like in anime or comics or whatever. Like, but it's also nice when you see all the guards when they are in Coliseum. You can see, for example, you can see Su Wukong, you can see other different. So some of them are Egyptian. In the outside are smaller guards, like in the ring. The only thing they was cancelled out in the manga, specifically like in the first scene you see Zeus sitting on his throne, and around him, behind him, like you can see, is a big dragon. In the manga, he, after Brunhilde tells him before he smashed the hammer for the final in the final judgment, before they're gonna execute all the humans, and he are so, I know, angry, he's angry, excited, or he just smashed the dragon's head in two with his hand. that is not in the show. That is really not important to have it or not, or have it like. Well, the character I really also like, I have to say, is Odin, where he specifically his two crows. And now I totally forget their names. And that was really cool to see that with the different attitudes, really cool attitudes. Like that part was really cool how they speak. And the white one and the black one. So that's going to be very interesting to see how Odin will fight in the manga or later on in the anime. So and and then we have also I think Adam's backstory, but but I think I more prefer Adam's fight with Zeus than his backstory. I think that the person that obviously have the best backstory is what since before Lubu and Raiden. Also nice that all of them get different as they dare to get the historical weapons. This is actually cool that they always know what kind of weapon Lubu use in the Three Kingdom, and they obviously so they don't give, and obviously they know Sasaki's Nodachi. He's famous for his Nodachi, so that was very nice. They don't give it. That was nice. They don't give Lubu some kind of very strange weapon, have nothing to do with Chinese culture. So that is really nice. Like with the polearm. Obviously, I don't know right now the name of the polearm. Yeah, I have to look it up. The name of that weapon is not obviously it's not a dagger axe, but it's something like from like dagger axe is much earlier, like from the Bronze Age to late early Iron Age. They in China use the dagger axe. And this is cool. This is gonna really cool, and we see. And obviously Poseidon with his trident, with his, all of this kind of weapon, and obviously that was, I think it was really sad that we don't see Poseidon full of potential, that he not summons a kind of a kraken or other kind of big sea creature. That was a bit sad, although it's like a big shark, like megalodon sharks, and all of this kind of thing. So yeah, that I have to say. So my I give Reckoning of Ragnarok 8 of 10, so 8 point. I give it, and I'm really happy with the show. And if you like animation and you like flashy fights, then I strongly recommend this show on Netflix. That's probably everything I really wanted to say for my review of season 1 of Reckoning of Ragnarok.